people that come in all the time and they look at like, wow, this is actually a high standard. We demand a high standard. That's what we demand. We demand to get better every day. We demand excellence. We demand a Ritz-Carlton of tiny homes. We're not the cheapest in the market. We want the best experience for everyone to be heard, be seen, and that's why we want to make sure that, because this is sometimes, $100,000, $200,000 investment that you guys are making.
How can we give you a 5-star experience on the home buying process? We want to treat you guys like it's your most important investment you've ever made. I tell my team all the time, I don't care if you're looking, I don't care if you're never going to buy one from us, you should experience how it feels through a buying process of picking out your flooring, your colors, your cabinets, your countertops, and picking out to where you're not forced to buy it. You have the creativity that God's given us. As an example, you have Chick-fil-A, McDonald's. Who treats you better?
Right. Who says, my pleasure? Who asks for your name when you pull up?
They're probably 9 times out of 10 the same people.
Right.
It's a different culture, a different environment, and a standard of quality that Chick-fil-A makes it a standard, and that's what we have here. So when we're talking about an open house, we don't want you just to come experience the beautiful houses that we have out back. We want you to come experience the entire thing from start to finish.
Right.
The food that we have, our staff that we have. It just helps production out back know exactly what your change orders are.
Welcome back to the Tiny Home Podcast, powered by Saddlebrooke Life. Today, I've got some special announcements I want to make on the podcast. And I've got a question before I get into the podcast. Have you ever wondered how a house gets built inside of a factory? Well, I have a lot of people that ask all the time that give our home experts a call. They're asking, hey, how do the homes actually be built inside of a factory? What's the process that happens? I've got some special announcements when this is happening, but we're having an open house coming up in a couple weeks where we're going to be walking people through the back, behind the scenes of how we actually build our homes, to where you can see every detail from the ground up to where it's finished and ready for delivery. So that's going to be some exciting things that are coming up. And Colton, it's going to be a tour. It's an experience that they get if they come in. It's free for everybody to come in. I've got tons of things, but watch the episode till the end of the episode. I'm going to be sharing all the details, when this event is, what time it is, what's going to be happening, the tours and everything. I'm super excited. This is where people come in and they actually know who Saddlebrooke is, because it's not just we don't just build homes. It's about the people inside the business. And if they come to this event, they get to see behind the scenes. They get to meet the people that actually make this happen. So I'm super excited, Colton. Let's get into this episode. In the end, like I said, wait till the end. I'm going to give you all the details in the end.
Thank you for that, Kyler. I think the biggest part that I want to express today on this podcast is the home buyer's experience. I feel like we skip past that all the way, from start to finish. We're just like, you look online, if you're anything like me, you go through, Facebook, you go through any and every social media platform, you search Google, even if you're, up and about, you search AI and like, hey, what's the best home builder? Do they have the best reviews? And I'm telling you guys, the best home that you'll ever buy, it's, it always goes back to the product, but it's how do they treat you?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we try here at Saddlebrooke the best. And sometimes we do fall short. But what we try here at Saddlebrooke is how can we give you a 5-star experience on the home buying process? It's not that we might not be the cheapest. We can go over all day long of how modular is the best, how, the product is built inside of a factory.
The materials we'll use, everything. Yeah.
You're not weather exposed out in nature for, God knows how long, if it's wintertime, if it's raining or, warping, stuff like that. What people remember the most, Kyler, is how do you make them feel? And I think, you look at Clayton Homes, you look at all of our, the manufactured homes, and some of the biggest home manufacturers on the planet, which is, Clayton, Champion. You have all of the great, and they're great builders. And if you look at their reviews, they all go back to the experience, the customer support, how they have answered the phone, not answered the phone. And I think it's human nature, right? Is, the bigger you get, the more corporate like it feels. But what we want to do is not only help you get the right house, make it affordable, but what's your experience? When you look at our open houses, when you come in, how can we make you feel? You know, we want to treat you guys like it's your most important investment you've ever made. And I don't care if, I tell my team all the time, I don't care if you're looking, I don't care if you're never going to buy one from us. You should experience how it feels to go through a buying process of picking out your flooring, your colors, your cabinets, your countertops, and picking out to where you're not forced to buy it. You have the creativity that God's given us to, start creating and creating a house. And when you see it, come together at the end, you created that. We want to help you have the experience because we feel like for us that's probably one of your largest investments you've ever made.
And it could be life savings as well.
Right. And so I tell my team all the time, it's the most important decision they're ever going to make.
Yep.
How many times are you going to spend $100,000? Not very often.
200,000. Yeah, it doesn't.
100,000, 200,000, 300, whatever it might be. Doesn't matter if you buy from us, you buy from anyone else, you build one on site.
100%.
Is how is the contractor? How's the builder? How's the company treating you? Are they answering all of your questions, or are they just brushing everything off like, yeah, we'll figure that out later? And then all of a sudden, had you ever heard all the horror stories that happen is the experience was terrible. When you go buy a car and you drive up to the car lot and you see these people running out to your car, try to open the car up and force you into the dealership.
Yeah.
They're trying to sell you something. Most people, when they come here, they've done their research. We have to ask ourselves, why would you come to an open house at Saddlebrooke? You probably saw us online somewhere. Then you probably went and done your research. Then you probably said, I'm going to come and I'm going to look at, everybody says they got great quality. I'm the type of guy that I'm going to go back and I'm going to be like, okay, but I want to go see it. I want to go smell it. I want to touch it. I actually want to see how they build. You can tell a company not by the owners. You can tell a company by the employees
that work inside the business.
How are the employees treating you? This is not even a podcast for just, modular houses and affordable housing. This is, how does a company treat other people? I can't help but mention, and the whole world's seen it, is Charlie Kirk. How can we as company owners have that same exact, you look at his employees at Turning Point USA, that is how you treat employees. You can see from the top down, from the ownership down, how does an employee get treated? Are they cussed out every day, or are they treated with respect?
Right.
And that goes back down to the employees, and then goes from the employees to the customer. How are they treating you? It all falls down, it's, as an example, you have Chick-fil-A, McDonald's. Who treats you better?
Right. Who says, my pleasure? Who asks for your name when you pull up?
They're probably 9 times out of 10 the same people.
Right.
It's a different culture, a different environment, and a standard of quality that Chick-fil-A makes it a standard, and that's what we have here. So when we're talking about an open house, we don't want you just to come experience the beautiful houses that we have out back. We want you to come experience the entire thing from start to finish.
Right.
The food that we have, our staff that we have. It's all about the experience of buying a house and making you feel like hey, as long as I can make every customer feel like I actually got exactly what I paid for and more. If you ever feel like, man, that guy screwed me, you'll never like me again. Why would we as a company want to say, I'm going to screw you out of your money? That way you can go talk to your family, to any referrals that you might ever have coming on the road, and say, don't go buy it with that company. That is just my mindset is, we're talking about an open house coming up, and we're talking about modular houses, affordable housing, all of the above. But actually, it all goes back to the experience and how it makes you feel, how, the emotions are exchanged, and the experience that you get here at Saddlebrooke. It's, you can go down the road and, get a builder to build, there's thousands of builders around.
Yeah, any kind of house that can be built. But when I look back at the recent or the open houses that we did have, it isn't you nailed it right on the point. It wasn't about the houses that you get to do. It's the education. The whole purpose behind it is the education that they get from building a house, for how people should be treated. You mentioned Charlie Kirk and how he treated his company, the big movement that's going on. That's exactly what we want to do. Is we want to be bold. We want to raise up leaders. We're running this business as we want to treat our employees to where they're going to go treat other people right. Because you can see a lot from any company if how the employees treat, your customers. That's a big thing. If your customers are not getting treated right, that means the employees are not getting treated by the owners. The standard hasn't been set. McDonald's and Chick-fil-A, they serve both a fast food, but one has higher standards than the other one, which goes all the way back up to leadership. And that's what this whole event, when I look back, this event, it wasn't just that we're selling a ton of homes. It was the experience people were having, the smiles that were going on, the food that we're doing, and the education that's going out. When customers come in, when people come in, they're coming in to see how you want to be treated. You want to feel like you're seen. You want to get the education. That's the reason we have home experts that we train personally to go back out there to show you how homes are supposed to be built. We have people that come in all the time and they look at like, wow, this is actually a high standard. We demand a high standard. That's what we demand. We demand to get better every day. We demand excellence. We demand a Ritz-Carlton of tiny homes. We're not the cheapest in the market. We want the best experience for everyone to be heard, be seen. And that's why we want to make sure that, because this is sometimes, $100,000, $200,000 investment that you guys are making. We want to make sure that you leave fully educated, fully known, prepared what you're buying, and that whole experience. And that's what this whole open house is about, is educating you, for you to understand who you're purchasing with, who are the people in the back offices, what kind of character do they have. Then you get to walk out back. You get to walk the whole process from when we start the floor to when the walls go up, electrical gets done, plumbing gets done, the interior finishes are getting done, the painting process, the roofing process. You get to see from a floor to the shell to the interior finish to the plumbing. You get to see the whole experience. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I've seen in past open houses. And the reason we open up our doors to the public is to say, hey, we have nothing to hide. Come check us out. We are a company that hopefully is making other companies better, that is pulling them to a higher standard. That is what we want. We want to be more bold. We want to be bold for our faith, because I believe that God has been good in our company. God has changed our whole company. And the movement that is going on for young leaders like me and Colton to stand up and say, hey, for what is right. I believe all companies should treat everybody right. I think companies should treat people with respect. I think companies should make sure that it's good for other people. I've seen where we've told customers, hey, I don't think this is the right product for you. I don't think this is the right thing for you. You should go buy somewhere else, because I don't think this is the right thing. So I love our open houses. That's the reason we created about a year ago. We started having these every 2 months, and I'm excited. I think this is something we do that is special.
And I think what most companies, they don't want you to come in here is actually how we build. And we were talking about our past open houses, and the people, we see people every day. They come in, they take a tour from Monday through Saturday. We're open 6 days a week, 365 days, and unless it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, stuff like that. And the biggest thing that I encourage, even if you don't want to buy, even if you're, just on the edge, whatever, what I tell them? Bring a framer. Bring one of your family members, friends, whatever, that, has been in construction for 20 years, and let them come see our product. Let them come tour with you and say, hey, you might not trust us right now, but you trust a guy that you've known 20 years, right? And I'm like, bring him in. we've learned so much because we've had framers come up to us, and sometimes they said, Kyler, I think you should do it this way, and this is the reason why. I've been in construction for 25 years, and if you do it this way, then this helps. So not only have we learned from the customers' feedbacks of, they brought framers in. Kyler, why do we sell products to construction workers?
It's speed and efficiency, but the quality is the same.
We've sold multiple houses to actually framers and contractors that built houses for a living and said, I can't build my house faster, cheaper, and better than you do.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to trust us, that's great. Bring a framer, bring a friend that's been in construction, bring an engineer, anybody that you want out. And that's why we say we welcome everybody.
Yeah. Let's talk about, for about 3 to 4 minutes, let's talk about what's the process when just so they can expect what's going to happen. The dates are October 4th. Like I said, wait till the end. I'll share more details. October 4th, we're going to be having this open house. I'm super excited. What's the process? We've seen it work time and time again. We've got floor plans from a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We've got some exciting news that's going to be happening 2026. We've got a new model that's coming out. It's revolutionary. The market has never seen it before. It's going to be more efficient. It's going to be more cost savings. I'm telling you, I'm super excited for that. I can't tell you yet. You're going to have to wait. We're going to have a podcast that comes out talking about the whole thing that we're doing. We're in the design process right now. So just wait on that one. But talk about the process, the thing that's been working over and time again, the models that are working, the process that works back here, the things that we're doing. Talk about 3 to 4 minutes. Then we're going to go behind the scenes of what to expect this day on October 4th.
Yeah, so, it starts with obviously setting your appointment, making sure that you can, save the dates, put it on your calendar, put it on, whatever schedule that you want to put it on. There's usually about 150 to 250 people to show up.
Usually, yeah, because we open up at 9:00 a.m. and we go to about 5 p.m. So during the day, we've got food trucks, we've got all these kinds of things that are happening.
And bring your kids. We're a family-owned company. I'm one owner, Tyler's the other owner, our dad. We started it. Actually started kind of in our backyard. It's kind of like an Amazon and Tesla store. You start in your back garage. We started it back in a shop that we had on the farm. We both grew up on the farm, but to expect, it's a family environment. We have toys for the kids. We have food for the kids. We want to not only say, hey, well, I don't have a daycare on Saturday, so I don't want to bring my kids. No, we actually have rooms that's set aside for the kids. That way, if you're actually looking at a house or plans or you're going through the process and you don't want to be distracted with your kids, we have people, hey, we'll take care of them, we'll feed them, we'll make sure that they're happy. I think the thing they love the most is the video games, which is kind of bad for kids anyway. But you come in, you can have anywhere from, our mom's freshly baked bakery that's on the property. So anywhere from fresh cinnamon rolls, breakfast, fresh bread, as well as a coffee shop that she has. So everything's fresh, everything's homemade. She makes everything from scratch. So if you want to come just for the food was always amazing. We have people walk away with tons of stories of they want to come back just for the food.
Yeah.
And
the famous cinnamon rolls.
The cinnamon rolls, she's got red raspberry rolls. And a lot of people, just come back every open house just to have the food again. Then we have, taco trucks, sometimes a slushy truck, stuff like that, ice cream trucks, whatever. But the biggest part is when we bring you in, we'll take you through a whole entire tour of the entire factory.
Yeah.
You can, I always say this as a business owner, as a person that is in construction, one thing to always look out for is how clean is the property. I always say that.
Check out when you, I think that was Walmart's philosophy.
It's the detail that matters. I think that's just my whole philosophy. And every day we try to be, 1% better.
Excellence.
At cleanliness and excellence and everything. And, if you're on a job site and there's trash laying around everywhere, you can't even walk through your house and they just leave a mess. Well, that means they don't, that's a 50% careless mindset. And so we try to be mindful. Everything's clean, everything's swept. We clean for 30 minutes every single day in the factory.
Yep.
Why?
And it
Because
costs
we believe every time that you start, you're a lot happier with a cleaner environment
when you show up the next
when you
morning.
show up the next morning than when you work in a dirty environment that's just filthy everywhere. It's just dust everywhere. And then you look at our warehouse. I kid you not, guys.
State of the art.
It looks like a mini Home Depot.
Yeah.
And the reason we have it is our purchasing department makes sure we have the exact product for you, but we buy it in bulk. So we buy, we make sure that we're very smart with the buying process. That's a whole part of how we run a company. It's not of how much money we sell the product for, it's how much do we buy it for.
Absolutely.
How can we buy great materials, but for a better price?
Yeah.
Your local contractor will always go back to your closest and most convenient location and not the best price. So when you're building a house, all of a sudden, your contractor says, hey, I'm going to build it for 10, 15, 20% above cost. Well, do you honestly think they care about how much your materials and lumber cost? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
They don't care. They would rather have it be more because then their commission is more. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so, we're going to take you through a tour of, you can check out the raw materials, make sure they're great products. And it's just a whole entire family environment. And it's so pleasant to be around. We have the environment that I want every single one of our employees to not only like coming to work, I want them to enjoy it. I want them to bring their kids. I want them to feel like they're loved here.
Absolutely.
And to feel the presence that a Christ-like company has. And that's the basic part of, we have great food, we have great products, we have great people, and we just love to be around like-minded people that share the same vision, share the same goals that we have as,
absolutely.
As U.S. citizens. We want affordable product. We want great products. We don't want to have a McDonald's cheeseburger for $2 and sell it for $10 like Chick-fil-A. We want the Chick-fil-A environment. We want the Chick-fil-A products.
Yep.
We don't want the cheapest, because the cheapest is not always the best. If you buy the cheapest, it's not going to be the best. And if you buy the best, it's probably not going to be the cheapest. And we have to choose what route do we want to go in.
Yeah.
We want a great product. We want a high quality product that's fast, but we also want a affordable product.
Absolutely. I think
that's the hardest thing to make it into one.
So a quick recap of everything that's happening. Get a pen and paper or write this down on your phone, and I'll give you the address here in just a second. This event is happening October 4th. Bring your family, bring your kids, bring anyone. But you're going to be able to, number one, you're going to be able to meet the people behind the scenes that are making it happen. Me personally, as one of the owners, I will be here. You can personally talk to me. Number two, you're going to be able to take a personal tour out back, and you're going to see the whole construction process. Number three, you're going to be able to meet with a home expert. You're going to be able to ask questions, go over all the details, go over financing, go over all those little details. I don't want to share all the secrets, but you're going to be able to come, and we're going to open up our whole facility for you to be able to walk through, to talk to anyone, to ask questions. And number four, which is I think the best, is you're gonna get to eat all the good food that we have. You're gonna be able to go to my mom's our family business over there, where we have a bakery, a coffee shop, which is super exciting. Most people drive like 3 hours just for that because it's so good. And number four is the address is 1025 West Grizzly Drive here in DeKalb, Texas. I'll say it again, 1025 West Grizzly Drive here in DeKalb, Texas. The event starts at 8 a.m. and it goes to 5 p.m. Now, if you don't have time, you're like, hey, what do I need to do to schedule for this event? There's a link down below that I'm going to put here personally that you can hit on. You can schedule a time to meet with somebody. And if you have a home expert that you're already working with, you're in the home buying process right now, I encourage you, hey, come back again, because this is going to be like no other event, where you're going to be able to get even more details, and you're going to be able to meet the people behind the scenes, which I think is going to be super great. And then again, this event is October 4th at 8 a.m. starting and ending at 5 p.m. There's a link down below. And again, I think and reserve your spot. I can hold about 200 people in here, and most of the times we're all the time we're stacked. So if you do want to come, reserve your spot. And I think that's it. I think we talked
And I
about
think a
these.
recap of why we want you to reserve a spot is because, like he said, we want you to experience the tour of having somebody take you around the entire property.
And if you don't reserve your spot, yeah.
And so if, there's a chance, if you don't, then all of a sudden there's not going to be enough home experts available to take the tour. So you might have to wait around a little bit or,
True.
wait for another, wait
Yeah.
for a chance to come in.
And that's happened before where we just had too many appointments where we didn't have enough home experts. So if you're super interested, you want to talk to a home expert and you want that personal tour, go ahead, hit that link. Go ahead, schedule to put you down. That way they'll have you in the system. When you walk in, you'll be able to say, hey, this is so-and-so. They'll be able to check you in and assign you to a home expert, and you'll get a personal tour throughout the whole process from the front office to the back to where we build everything. So like I said, again, this event is October 4th. I can't wait to personally see you. I'm personally inviting you. Colton probably will be here, hopefully.
I'll always be here.
So we can't wait to see you guys. And again, thank you guys for listening to the Tiny Home Podcast, powered by Saddlebrooke Life. You guys have a blessed day.
Thank you, guys.